Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We are live. I think I'll be the only one here, or maybe Lady O will be joining me later. If I can tell, there's no one on it yet, but you can introduce yourself. If you are here, please kindly let me know that you are around. Today we're going to share, it's about the Burkina Faso Gumachi Festival history. We are going to learn more about the culture, how they live their lives. I mean, this is about West Africa culture. It's about their agriculture, how they used to cultivate, and also astrology and what medicine, something about plant as well. I was shocked when I hear it. For families, there is a lot about this speech. I don't want to butcher the professor's name. His name is Professor Yamba Kamburi. He's the one that is going to share this history lesson with us. I don't know whether to start early or not. If you are here, please kindly let me know. If Lady O is here, I don't think Lady O is here. But whoever is in the background, just wave and I will know that I'm not alone. So I will start playing it because I know some people are waiting and I don't want to waste their time. So yes, this festival or this Gombati festival will start 26th of November and it will end 29th of November. I put it on the thumbnail, but in case you haven't paid attention, if you are in Ghana, Burkina Faso, I said Burkina Faso, Ghana, Togo, Benin, Mali, it's easy for you to go to Burkina Faso and experience this festival because it is for us, or it is our culture, it is our history. It's more or less about West Africa. So you are welcome. Anyway, if you are traveling abroad as well, or you are thinking about traveling abroad, this is something you have to look forward to. Please make it a point to visit Burkina Faso and experience this culture. They will be selling books for us in the local mother tongue and also in English. So yes, contact me or contact Lady O if you are interested. We will make sure you get one so you will start learning. I mean, after November. Yes. So I will start this video. Thank you. I can tell we have few people in the background. So while we wait, let's listen. Um, uh,
I am Kumbari Hunteni Yamba, an endogenist, an independent researcher, a specialist in endogenous development from Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. The theme, indigenous knowledge. What does that mean? What do we mean by indigenous knowledge? Indigenous knowledge is the whole body of information about the ecosystem of a geographical area such as Gourma in the east of Burkina Faso. And we know very well when we look at both history and the present that Gourma extends beyond Burkina Faso's borders. Of course, in Mali, Niger, Togo, Benin, and Ghana, you find within each of those countries a large community. Gourmanche. That said, the Gourmantcheba, a community in West Africa, live through a specific experience. In that area, of course, both yesterday and today, I would say. When we look at history as well as current reality, I would say, in Gourma, there are many trades in the sense that, of course, on both the scientific and technological levels, on the social level, social organization That is to say, the family. Of course, a whole set of rules and laws that govern the life and functioning of the family, the clan, and more broadly, the community, just as in the time of Diaba Lampo, in the 1200s before the colonial era, rules and laws governed the life and functioning of the kingdom. The trades, we have oratory, oral arts, the griot tradition, kinship, joking relationships, tales, legends, songs, and so on, cries, and the ululations of women. These are forms of indigenous knowledge. Pottery, that is to say, ceramics, as well as blacksmithing, leatherwork, hide processing, the production of foods such as shea butter, the making of traditional soap, dolo, and many other things besides. These trades, these arts and crafts are forms of indigenous knowledge, here specifically in Guermanche country. Naturopathy, traditional medicine, and geomancy known throughout the world. It is true, geomancy is a transcultural practice of prehistoric origin, but it is known, very well known, and especially well known in West Africa, more precisely in Burkina Faso, in the hands of the Guermancheba. These are forms of indigenous knowledge. So before the arrival of the colonizer in the African tropics, Africans healed themselves, fed themselves, clothed themselves, and of course lived in harmony because they had created tools for development, including the arts and crafts I have just mentioned, as well as the laws and rules that governed life and the functioning of societies within the Guermanche community, the Guermanche geographical area, the Kingdom of Gourma. As a historical reminder, the Kingdom of Gourma was led, conceived, and organized by Diaba Lampo, and then by his sons and his grandsons. As for astronomy, we need to use discernment. In Indigenism, not a single step without discernment. Like when driving, without visibility, you don't move forward, because prevention is better than cure. That being said, astronomy can be understood in two ways. The first understanding is in the metaphysical spiritual sense. That is, the sense that speaks of the influence of the stars on man's destiny. That is the first understanding. The second is the scientific understanding, meaning the rigorous study of the stars. The stars, the bodies beyond, above the earth, above the atmosphere. As for astronomy in Boulmemtier country, in the metaphysical spiritual sense, here, which heavenly bodies do we observe? The sun, the moon, the stars, their influence on the destiny of man, with a capital M, of course. That said, for teaching purposes, in Boulmemtier country, you will hear of a woman called Malo. To speak of the moon is a child, a girl, a female child who was born on the first day of the moon, when the moon appears. She is called Malo. She can also be called Tilpoa if it's a woman. If it's a man, Tiliga. Tilo, the moon. It is also called Malo. Linguistic dynamics, linguistic engineering lead us to this delight. That being said, the influence on the cultural, metaphysical, spiritual level, I was going to say, therefore, the moon. On its first day, when a woman gives birth to a child, as stated above, if it is a girl, she is called Malo. She can be called Malo or Tilpoa. If it is a boy, Tiliga, to say that he was born on the first day of the moon when it appears. also in geomancy. It is carefully studied. That is to say, the position of the sun is taken into account in certain cases for specific studies. And the sun in the morning, the sun on the horizon, the sun at its zenith, the sun around 1:30 or 2 o'clock p.m., the sun at 4 o'clock p.m., the setting sun. In Bulmatier country, there are actions to take or not to take, of course, depending on the position of the sun. And when we inquire, when we go deeper, we know that the human being is one of the links in the solar system. It is a microcosm within the solar system. The Earth, a macrocosm. The sun, a macrocosm. The moon, a macrocosm. I was going to say the stars, a macrocosm. We know that man represents an infinitesimal part of the solar system. And looking at it scientifically and spiritually, we will say the elements of a system. Because the solar system, of course, the solar system is a whole, of course, of bodies, not to mention macrocosms and microcosms. And we know full well that in the system, all the elements are interconnected, interrelated, and we will say, influence one another. That being said, on the metaphysical spiritual level in Bulmatier country, all these stars, all these celestial bodies above the earth, above the atmosphere, have a cultural, metaphysical, spiritual influence on man, on man's destiny. So there you have it, summed up in the astronomical sense, what is meant when we speak of astronomy in Bulmatier country, in summary form, not to say in condensed form, pedagogically and andragogically. About agriculture. It's a vast, holistic field, but it's understood as the whole set of human activities that involve cultivating the land and raising animals in order to produce food. So there is, of course, crop farming and livestock raising. When we talk about agriculture or even the rural world, in some countries they say Ministry of Rural Development, Livestock and Agriculture, to refer in a word to crop production and animal production. That being said, in Bourlemondier country, it's true back then, considering what we know and how the world has evolved, everything in agriculture is dynamic. Livestock raising had, I would say, a cultural purpose, of course, for the use of animals, for rites and rituals, for family consumption, and many other things in a diplomatic sense. Diplomatic in the sense that when you have a certain number of animals, certain kinds of animals, you can use them to create, to weave friendly relationships. Oh yes, of course, to welcome a stranger, a bull, a sheep, a goat, a guinea fowl, a rooster, and so on. That creates, that strengthens social relations, even human ones, of course. And culturally, certain kinds of animals are used according to their coloring, of course, in order to carry out rituals, to handle offerings. That said, in agriculture, there are a number of plants, cereals, and so on. I was going to say, also all tubers, in a word, everything that grows under the ground, cassava, as we know it, yams and sweet potato, a number of tubers, a number of products that, in a word, are produced underground, such as ground peas, peanuts, and so on. Um, Cereals, most of them, of course, above ground, like millet, small millet, for example, and so on. There is a kind of small millet that, of course, in less than 90 days, mostly in 2.5 months, even 3 months, in a word, is already ready. So in most cases, during famines, that's what people plan ahead for. In any case, prevention is better than cure. So these are cereals that are grown, planted, produced in order to anticipate a certain number of risks. Anyway, that's it. In a word, as for agriculture, before the advent of, well, to speak about the dynamics of life, the idea of ranch crops, cotton, and a number of other agricultural products, namely sesame. Today we use them culturally, we consume them as food, we use them, in short, economically. And it's true, cotton is one of a number of agricultural products that we produce today, and soybeans are a ranch crop. Sumbara is made from them. And at the broader, I would say, agricultural level, there is nere and tamarind, and also the shea tree. But mostly it's nere. You put nere seeds in the ground, and before long, they become trees. And it's used, people turn to it for naturopathy. The product, nere, we know its many uses, its many practical uses, you could say. That said, in general and in specific terms, agriculture as a whole is something we use for nutritional consumption. We rely on agricultural products, meat and cereals, tubers, and everything we produce through agriculture to be able to heal ourselves, feed ourselves, and economically to flourish, to enjoy social well-being, autonomy, and sovereignty. We can't talk about peace without an economy. Without an economy, there is no peace, in the sense that people need food and the bare minimum in order to live and survive. That said, agriculture in its cultural dimension, I would say, in its social and economic dimension, we know very well that in the past, in times of cultivation, there were situations where people asked the neighbors, "Come help me on such and such a day. We're going to work the land." And that gathering is cultural, it's social, and who knows what else. So on the cultural level, as on the metaphysical spiritual level, as on the economic level, agriculture in Bourg-le-Mandier goes beyond what we see and beyond subtraction, beyond abstraction, I should say, reaching into social relationships, spiritual relationships, metaphysical spiritual relationships, I should say. Agriculture is multifunctionality, I should say.
Lady O, welcome.
Because I can see, okay, there you go. Sorry. I apologize for my internet because I'm mobile right now. So I just left a meeting, an amazing meeting with the Burkina Faso ambassador to Canada. The meeting was longer than we thought because we had so much to discuss. I found an amazing interpreter here, Eunice, and we spoke about my trip to Burkina Faso. We talked about my return to Burkina Faso. We talked about the Gamanche Festival. They also asked me to assist them in promoting some other content for Burkina Faso so that I would be the Canadian ambassador of all things Burkina Faso when it comes to cultural activities and what's happening in Burkina. So the exciting news that I told you that I wanted to bring to you was one, having this meeting, coming out, having their collaboration, their support in what we're doing, support in bringing information to the diaspora. And Chumamli, they asked, they said, how can you help us bring more information? I said, well, I have a partner online. Her name is Chumamli, and every week we are highlighting information about Burkina Faso. And specifically for this moment, we're doing the Gamanche information leading up to the festival. So there's another festival that's happening in Burkina Faso. So there's more information to come out, so much content. And now we have officially the support of the embassy, the ambassador of Canada, that I'll be teaming up with And we are now going to be able to bring more Burkina Faso information directly from the embassy. And we're going to be the ones to assist them in bringing Burkina Faso information, all things Burkina Faso, directly from the source. So I definitely wanted to break that news on Chumamli's platform, because Chumamli has been diligent in bringing content, active content, accurate content. And I'm like, what other better platform to announce this on and let Chumamli know that what you've been doing, people recognize, and we are here to support. And I'm so happy that now I have the collaboration and the support of the Burkina Faso embassy here in Canada for us to bring to you, the diaspora, information, because we're thinking big. We're thinking of starting to do tours and trips here for those in Canada, but also if you're south of the border and you want to join me on these cultural events and these ways in which we can support the revolution. We can't be on the front lines. I always say that we can't hold the machines, but we can find a way to support the Burkina Faso revolution in many ways that we can. So I was able to also confirm my videographer, who is going to be the one who's going to be doing the videos, also social media. So many amazing things has happened on this trip right now. And I wanted you, Chumamli, to be the first to hear.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow. Congratulations. Well done. I'm so happy. Can you hear me? I'm so happy. It's good news. It is good
yes,
news.
I can hear you.
Now that
Congratulations.
you are ready.
Yeah, congratulations to you as well. Congratulations to us. Congratulations to all your supporters, all your viewers, all your listeners. You are making this possible. Every time you click on a Chumamli's video, every time you watch a Chumamli's video, every time you share a Chumamli's video, you are amplifying the voice, the content of Burkina Faso. So congratulations to everyone who has made Chumamli's platform a platform where we can rely on and we can count on accurate information. And this is just now another level to the accurate information that we're going to be able to present and bring to this platform.
Thank you, sis. We have one more video left. I think it's about medicine. So should we play that now?
Yes, because medicine, this says, something that's good for the soul. This information, this news, I think it's appropriate for the Gamanchi video on medicine to be what is played right after this.
No. I think it's medicine. Yeah.
Medicine. As for medicine in our African tropics, more specifically in Burkina Faso, and even more specifically in Bulmantier country medicine. Here we are talking about naturopathy. Naturopathy, what does that mean? Naturopathy is nothing other than beyond the established frameworks. I was going to say beyond academic definitions. Naturopathy is understood as the ability to care for oneself, to treat, to heal ailments by natural means in Bulmantier country. We know a great deal about it. Of course, through the hunters. In the historical and cultural sense, medicine, naturopathy, was born and developed in the hands of hunters because they were far from homes, from family compounds, far from inhabited and habitable places, of course. Well, that is to say, far from the village compounds. They came up with initiatives. And in Africa, we spoke and still speak with the trees. We speak to the trees. We speak with nature. We speak to nature. We understand because the universe, nature, is a set of codes, and whoever masters those codes knows something about it. From subtraction to the manifestation of subtraction, and we observe the manifestations, the effects of abstraction. Such is the law of nature, the natural dispositions. And what else can I say? In Boulmontier country, traditional medicine, naturopathy, is an important fundamental link in the life of every being that has just come into the world. From the fetal stage, from the pre-fetal stage, from early childhood. Intrinsically, the human being is within education. In terms of education, we always turn to traditional medicine in the broad sense, in the narrow sense. In a word, in summary, naturopathy is, once again, a whole set of material and immaterial means that human beings use to care for themselves, to be able to heal from ailments. And telemedicine, we cannot finish without talking about it, because young people today, when they are told about telemedicine, people start asking questions. It's witchcraft. They call it all sorts of things they speak of. Some of those terms are frightening. Well, they use terms whose knowledge, whose mastery escapes them. And there you have it, a communication problem. A communication problem is an illness. That being so, to heal from it, we will have to turn to discernment. In other words, know the substance of the terms, the meaning of the terms we use, depending on the context. And as they say, a word only has meaning in a precise context. A word or an expression without context is nothing but a pretext. That being so, in a word, in Boulmontier country, naturopathy is the oxygen, is the aura, of course, that animates and protects the life of human beings of every age. As for the responsible management of the environment in Boulmontier country, as an educational and andragogical reminder, our societies were and still are governed by the cultural code and customary law. No aspect of it, no component, no element of the material or immaterial environment was used without respecting the cultural code and customary law. That is what young people must internalize today and bring into their daily attitudes. Otherwise, we are bound to disappear when our roof runs into trouble. The environment, our roof. The environment. What does the environment mean? Beyond the provisions, beyond academic definitions, the environment is nothing other than the whole of everything around us on the tangible and intangible levels. So the components, the elements of the environment in their material and immaterial dimensions. In short, it is the whole that makes up our environment. Responsible environmental management. As I was saying earlier, it is governed, the environment is governed by the cultural code and customary law. In the cultural sense, in the metaphysical spiritual sense, I would say, to remove a leaf or bark or a root from a tree, you must ask its permission. Tree, I am asking for a part of your body to do this or that. Then you take it and make use of it. That is on the cultural level, on the metaphysical spiritual level. On the social level, it is true, the tradespeople, the cabinet makers, those who make, in short, step stools, pipes, those who design them have always turned to it. They always submit to the cultural code and customary law that govern the life and functioning of the town, of the community. A foreigner must submit to the cultural rules in Boulmontier country, otherwise he will, of course, face the full force of the law. And that is what environmental management is. It was far removed from any form of greed, not to say extreme mercantilism. Today, if there is climatic upheaval, we talk about climate change, but it is greed. It is a failure to respect the cultural code and customary law. That is not cause for alarm. There is hope in the sense that the Burkinabe authorities today are in the process of tropicalizing, of making our legislation homegrown. The Constitution of June 2nd, 1991. Once again, there is hope. Young people reconnect with the source. As journalists like to say, they always go to the source and verify the information. So let us drink from the source. That is to say, turn to the cultural code, to customary law, which govern the life and functioning of the town, of our societies. That is a healthy environment in a healthy mind. And to make things clean, we must first cleanse ourselves. When my room is clean, the living room will be clean. Consequently, the yard and the front of the house as well. Donc, the quality, cleanliness, or unsanitary state of a neighborhood reflects the attitude of the people who live there. Again, a healthy environment in a healthy mind, that is the ideal.
That is it for now. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you everyone for your time. I hope you have learned one or two
Thank you,
things.
everybody.
Lady O, I give you the floor.
Oh, thank you everyone for tuning in on our weekly live on True Mamli's platform, sharing information about the Gamanti Ba community. Get ready for the festival in Burkina Faso, November 26th to 29th. I've already purchased my ticket, so I'm going to be there. And from what I understand from my meeting today, there is another cultural or another event that is happening before then. When the embassy, they will be sending me the information. I will be bringing it live on True Mamli. It's, from what I understand, it's in October. I believe they said it was, to November. So I think right after that is where the Gamanchi Community Festival is happening. So I'll bring in more information. I told them I wish I had known, so I would have bought my ticket earlier in October. But who knows? We'll see what's possible. We'll see, if it's something that I can be at. If not, for sure, when I show up in November, I might be coming on to the tail end of it, so I may be able to attend that particular event. But keep it locked. Always support True Mamli, like and share her information. And again, thank you to everyone that has been a supporter. True Mamli, again, I have to thank you so much, sis. I came across your platform when I was already researching content for AES. And the first time I saw your video, I was like, I think this is where I'm going to stay. And the more I watch your content, I was like, yeah, this is where I'm parking my bus when it comes to getting local news that is authentic and accurate. So thank you so much, sis, for the work that you've put in before, so people like myself can meet you and get to know your platform. And then we stay and then we try to support you in any way possible. Guys, support True Mamli, become a member. She has many different tiers, but even if you cannot financially do it, because I know everybody's strapped, please let's like and share, comment. Any kind of interaction will help True Mamli's platform. And that's it for me today.
Thank you so much, sis. Thank you. I'm glad I found you on this street. Thank you so much. There's a brother here. I can't pronounce the name. Let me put here. It's on the screen. He's a YouTuber as well. So please, each and everyone, if you would like to know more about Kenya, click on his profile picture and then go and watch what is going on in Kenya as well. He's another supporter as well. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. Most importantly, um, I hope you have learned one or two things from here, because I was talking to a brother yesterday morning before I started working on the video. Sorry. So when I heard moon, something about the moon, I said, yeah, and the sun. I said, okay, we were talking about the same things, like coincidence. And then I heard it. So we are all learning. I hope those who have time will learn a lot from this series. We'll be back next week, hopefully same time as well. So thank you all. Thank you. Since I know you are tired, so we end it here. We'll see you next week. And I'm happy. I'm happy for the good news. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.